And welcome back to Ice District. The fans are arriving in the plaza behind us. TSN's Ryan Rishaug has also arrived. It's becoming a spring tradition to have you here to talk hockey. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's important to keep these things alive.
It's great, buddy. We get to touch base, talk a little hockey.
Yeah. The way, sometimes the hockey's not as fun to talk about. The way this is going so far for the Oilers, their playoff beards aren't going to be very, very impressive this year, are they?
Well, they're in one. Like, they're in some trouble here. It's funny, we just had some people walk by and ask, like, give me reasons to feel positive. And I was kind of like, it's 2-0, man. There's not a lot. So, they say, Jeff, that you're never really in trouble in a series until you lose one at home. I don't think so. The Oilers are in trouble in this series. They're getting dominated in terms of the special teams battle. They're making all kinds of mistakes. They haven't been getting a high enough level of goaltending to help push them through here. There hasn't been a lot going right so far. Now, I'm not trying to be, Debbie Downer here. You need to be realistic about what's happened so far to understand what it's going to take for a different result tonight. They need to be way better in a bunch of different ways. So, not a ton of positive energy heading into this one. That's up to them to flip it.
One of those ways I'm sure most people watching would agree is goaltending. Calvin Pickard starting tonight. Stuart Skinner has been pulled. He's getting a lot of heat from fans and analysts alike. Is that deserved?
Yeah, it's goaltending in a Canadian market. It's always going to get lots of focus and always going to get lots of attention. If you were to ask me where on the list of problems has goaltending been so far in this series, I would list the penalty kill ahead of it. I would list their power play ahead of it. I would list their overall defensive play ahead of it. So really you can ring it up at maybe 4 or 5 on the list. That's not to say that Stuart Skinner doesn't need to be better. He did. He let in some goals, one-on-one with guys that you hope he can maybe make a couple of those saves to win in the playoffs. You gotta have the play-by-play guy yelling a few times about great saves. Mm-hmm. And that hasn't necessarily been the case yet. So they turn to Calvin Pickard, and we'll see if they can get a better result from him. But I'm here to tell you, if they don't tighten it up defensively, you could stack you, me, and Josh Clausen next to each other in net in full gear and cover the entire thing, and it still wouldn't matter. They need to play better in front of whoever is in net tonight.
You've been around this group for several years now. You've watched them evolve. You've watched them have a lot of success. Based on your experience with them in previous playoffs, what are you seeing, and how do you think they're going to respond to this?
I think this team is really quite jarred to be in this situation already. The fact that they're 2 games in and already in a must-win situation, I think it's jarring for the group. I think it's really disappointing for them, and I think they need to get over that, and I think they're going to. I was in the room today. McDavid was all business in his media availability, but he always is. What's he going to do, be laughing and joking? They're in a serious situation here already, and they know it. I think that the Oilers have the ability in that locker room to put it together on any given night. I picked them to win this series in 6 games. I think that both teams playing their best. I think the Oilers are a better team. They just haven't gotten close to that yet. So would anyone be surprised if it was 7-1 and McDavid had 5 points tonight? Oh. I wouldn't be, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, we caught a glimpse of that in Game 1. That third period, we saw Draisaitl and McDavid, obviously angry on the bench, and they went out and they tied that game. That was a very improbable comeback that unfortunately didn't end the way they wanted it to. But they have that capability, obviously. Can they drag this team to the promised land?
Well, we saw at times they did it last year. They've done it over the last couple of seasons at times. The sheer force of the offense that those two have been able to piece together. But here's the problem. A lot of that ends up on the back of their power play, right? They were dominant special teams-wise against the LA Kings last year. Like, phenomenal. Their penalty kill was perfect, and their power play was 45%, which is crazy. Now you flip the script, and you've got LA's penalty kill basically perfect, and their power play at 50%. So they're even better. If they don't flip the special teams script here, I'm not sure they got a chance to survive in this series, because LA has a formula right now. They go 5 forwards on their main power play. The Oilers penalty kill is a mess. And by the way, you know who the 3 top minute guys on the Oilers penalty kill were last year? Remember when it was so good? Desharnais is one. He gone. Ekholm, he gone. They're not available.
McLeod.
And Cody Ceci as well. He gone as well. So not that they don't have good players, but the strength of their team was their penalty kill, and the spine of that on the blue line isn't there.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to quickly ask you, a lot of new faces. Does this sometimes take a little bit of time for that many new guys to come together?
Shouldn't be this long.
Okay.
You know, if it's November and they're struggling and sputtering and there's all these new faces, you're like, okay, well, yeah, sometimes it takes time. Bottom line, a lot of the people that they brought in or brought back haven't worked out great. You know, Victor Arvidsson has not worked out great this year, flat out. Scored a nice goal last game, made a horrendous
Sorry, I got to cut you off there, Ryan. We're out of time. But you know what? We appreciate you coming by, as always. We'll be right back here in Ice District.